All right, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. I've been trying to post a little bit later. When I post at night, I feel like I'm sometimes rushing through it, so I prefer to kind of look at the line movement that we get. Kind of gives a bit of a story about what's going on behind the scenes. Yesterday was pretty average, 5-4. St. John's Marquette under was pretty sweat free. I think it would finish around 130 something. Kentucky, they fought back in the second, but another one of those games where a team just falls into such a huge first half hole somehow. They could not shoot, and they cannot defend, more importantly. They end up coming back to be within like 10 near the end, but it took too long. Minnesota, pretty sweat-free. They almost were pretty much winning that game the entire time. Ohio, also sweat-free. I think they win this game by like 30 or 40. Houston, pathetic first half. They were down like 12 points at some point in the first half. Some of these teams, man, they're so much better, but they're just so cold to start. I don't know. End up winning that game by 9. Oklahoma State kind of showed up early on. Crazy game. Baylor and Texas Tech over. That game ended at like 134, 136. The first half was a bit too pathetic from Baylor, so they didn't end up getting close enough. USC Northwestern over, pretty sweat-free. Arizona State. If you watch that game, you understand that this should have probably cashed. I think they were winning this game to start the first half up like 20-something points. Somehow they end up losing the first half over like completely. They give up an absurd run, 35-9 run, to the point where they're losing by like 13. It's just disgusting. They end up coming all the way back in the game just to miss 2 free throws with 3 seconds left and lose the game by 1. So glad they lost the game outright, because that was just the most pathetic collapse. They didn't score a point for over like 14 minutes. And then Arizona, pretty much back and forth. The game was basically tied, or they were winning, or they were down 1 the entire game, and then they pulled away a little bit near the end, winning by 8 or 9 or something. So solid day. Not the best day, not the worst day. We'll take it. All right, game number 1. Back to Seton Hall. I picked them literally once, and they did cover. That's just because they were playing a Providence team that just played, some would say, their biggest game of the year. But yeah, the Seton Hall team is just worse in almost every single regard, except for playing the boards, than this Butler team. Offensively, Butler is a very efficient team. They're 58th best in the nation in offense efficiency. And the one thing that they're going to do really well is they're going to shoot, and they're going to get a lot of free throws. This Seton Hall team fouls a lot. They're at 285th in giving up teams, allowing them to go to the free throw line. And Butler is 15th in the nation in getting to the line. They shoot it pretty well, 75, 76%. Plus, when they do shoot the ball, they shoot a lot of outside the paint shots, threes and mid-range. They're going to have big advantages on both of those fronts against a really shitty Seton Hall perimeter defense. Even if they do go into paint, they're going to find success. The one thing that Seton Hall does do well is they get boards on both sides. They're probably going to outwin this rebound battle. They typically do that, but they can't shoot. They're 251st in offense efficiency. They suck at everything. The one thing that they shoot the most is the near basket shot. They might find a little bit of success, but they still suck. They're not going to get to the line at all. They're pretty much going to have to rely exclusively on offensive boards in order to keep this game close, because I think Butler is going to score almost every single time they go up the field. So, again, I think the Seton Hall team sucks. This Butler team is starting to figure it out. They had a really rough patch for a little bit, but they're really starting to look better. They played a much harder schedule. They've been a top 100 team all year. Seton Hall has been a borderline top 200 team all year. Give me Butler to win as a short road favorite. All right, heading into game number 2. This is probably the squarest bet you can make tonight, but I just don't see this Cleveland State team is on a crazy win streak. They look incredible, but the one thing that this Northern Kentucky does have on them is that they played a harder schedule. I could see a world where Northern Kentucky can win this game, but Cleveland State has been playing really well on the road. Northern Kentucky has not been playing well at home. They're a consistent team, but I think Cleveland State here is going to dominate the boards, offensive boards specifically, and they're going to get as many points as they want. Northern Kentucky, they're not by any means a bad team. They're 10-13, but they probably should be closer to an even team. But I do believe this Cleveland State team is going to find some success in their mid-range shots and their board strategy, which is what they kind of do. On the other side, this Northern Kentucky team, they like to shoot outside the paint. From 3, they're going to struggle. They might also find some success from the mid-range. But they're going to have to basically rely exclusively on getting points off turnovers off the Cleveland State team. But now we're getting. I was gonna touch this last night because I thought the line would move, but I'm kind of glad because it felt kind of trappy, just getting them at -2. So I'm glad I waited. The line has dropped all the way to +1.5. So all we need is for them to win, or they can even lose by 1. So I like the spot now for Cleveland State. I think all of the sharp money has came in and moved this line to this +1.5 number. I think Cleveland State probably wins this game outright. It's super square, but yeah, I don't care. Heading into game number 3, we have Tulsa heading on the road against Memphis. Now, this Memphis team started a little meh this year, but I really do think they're starting to roll. They played the 23rd hardest schedule strength, and they have pretty solid stats accordingly. Record quality, they're the 5th best in college basketball. They play some really disciplined basketball in general. They don't foul very much. They don't turn the ball over very much. I think they're going to find a lot of success in every single front in this game. Tulsa, they're 9-13, but they played the 266th easiest schedule in college basketball. This Memphis team is going to find success everywhere they want offensively. If you look at where they typically like to shoot, they're kind of a well-rounded team, but they mostly like to shoot mid-range and near basket shots that are pretty high percentage shots. They have the 30th best field goal percentage in college basketball. They're going to find success everywhere because this Tulsa team is not a very good defensive team. But the point where I think they're going to get all their points this game is going to be on offensive boards, where they're 25th in the nation in converting them. And Tulsa ranked 350th in giving up offensive boards. So I think Memphis is going to completely dominate. They're going to be able to score on every single possession. And they're going to get a lot of points off steals against a Tulsa team that turns the ball over 15 times a game, and a Memphis team that against much better teams has averaged 15.5 turnovers per game. So I think Memphis is going to get 20+ turnovers, 15+ offensive boards, and on their actual shooting, they're going to shoot fine. So I think Memphis blows out Tulsa by 30-40 points here. Heading into game at number 4, we have SMU heading on the road against VT. Now, this SMU team is a weird one, but I really do like to back them when they're playing against these mid-ACC teams that are around the 50% mark, because that's really where they play the best. If you look at their power ratings, against top 150 teams, they are atrocious. They're ranked 288th and 263rd against these top 50 teams. But once you play a team outside the top 100, that's when they absolutely love to blow teams out. They're ranked 20th against ranked 51st to 100 teams, 35th against 100 to 200 teams. So they are what I would consider a shit team crusher. They suck against better competition, but once they play a pretty mediocre team, they suck. Virginia Tech is kind of the opposite. They play well against top 25 teams, but the second they have to play a top 50 team, they're ranked 282nd in the country. So this just seems like a great spot for an SMU team that has played significantly better on the road than they have at home. They're ranked 28th when playing on the road. Virginia Tech, also complete opposite. They play much worse at home. They're ranked 163rd when playing at home. I think this is a spot where SMU has the ability to completely roll them. Offensively, SMU is going to have no problems against the outside top 200 defensive Virginia Tech team. They're going to dominate the boards. They're going to get a lot of points off turnovers, and they're going to shoot well wherever they decide to. There's not a single thing that Virginia Tech does well defensive-wise against a quality team like SMU. On the other side, this VT team, they're not even a top 100 offense. All they really do successfully is they'll get to the line a decent amount. They'll find some success on the boards, but everywhere they want to shoot, mid-range, SMU is the 7th best team at defending the mid-range. I think Virginia Tech's only success here is going to be on the 3, but SMU still has defended the 3 decently well, 75th in the nation. So again, this is going to be a similar game as to why I liked Arizona yesterday. VT is going to have to rely heavily on their 3s falling, and I don't know if it's going to be that easy against this extremely fast-paced, aggressive SMU team that's going to make them feel super uncomfortable at all times. So give me SMU to blow out Virginia Tech on the road here. Heading into our final game, we have Arkansas State heading on the road to play Marshall. Now, I fully have not had any success fading this Marshall team because it's really hard to quantify a team that scores most of their points getting free throws. But I think Arkansas State here is just a much better team. Marshall still has played the 301st hardest schedule. They're a consistent team, but this Arkansas State team, has been a top 100 team basically all year in the Sun Belt, and Marshall has just barely broken the top 200. So you're gonna have to tell me that Marshall has a significant home edge in this spot here, but they really don't. If you look at this Arkansas State team, they played better on the road. They're a top 50 team when playing on the road, and Marshall only plays slightly better at home. They have a top 150 home advantage, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. This Arkansas State team plays most teams really well. This Marshall team doesn't really play too well against better competition. If you look at where Arkansas State likes to shoot, they're a team that mostly relies on offensive boards, and they're going to find success here against a Marshall team that doesn't defend their own boards very well. And they're also going to get to the line almost just as much as this Marshall team. And that's really the one thing that I like in this spot is that Arkansas State shoots the free throw much better, 2.5 points better. And they're almost completely even in their expected amount of free throws they're going to shoot this game. So this Marshall team that typically relies on free throws is not going to find any success anywhere else against a really solid Arkansas State defense. Marshall likes to shoot mid-range three-point shots, two things that Arkansas State defends incredibly well. Top 30 against the three, top 40 against the mid-range. So, yeah, give me Arkansas State here to win this game pretty comfortably on a really, really short away favorite number here. All right, and that is everything that I like for today. First game starts in about 3 hours, so you have lots of time to get these numbers in. And I also prefer to do these games later because I feel like most people aren't watching the videos at night, and by the time I post, half the lines are moving like 2 to 3 points from when I posted. So I may have taken some of these games at better lines, or there's some games that I liked last night that I don't like now that the line has moved. I'm still making bets at night, but you can see those in the Discord if you're around. But for now, I'm just kind of focusing on posting a bit later so that when people do watch the video, they're not getting a line that's 2-3 points shittier than the one I got. Especially since I was posting at like 1 or 2 a.m. Eastern time. So, yeah, I'm going to have a pinned comment with all of the totals that I like. Totals have been doing pretty well. I think we're 4-1 on totals so far, 4-2. But I want to get this video up as soon as possible, and the totals take me quite a long time. Now that's a bit newer of a thing that I'm handicapping, so keep an eye out for that. It'll probably be up around 4:35. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching.